Today, I'm going to be doing my first movie review for you. I don't know why I didn't start this sooner, but this one had to be said. I am going to review Transformers 4: Age of Extinction. And let me say, it was a total wreck. No pun intended. It was just all over the place. There were so many different stories going on. You got Lockdown story. You got Kelsey Grammer's story. You got Stanley Tucci, his story. Mark Wahlberg's character story. Optimus Prime, what's going with him, and so on. It was just all over the place. Humor was forced. The three movies that came out prior, it should have been it. You had the first, the second, and the epic conclusion, the third. It should have been done with. It should have been like a clean reboot. Or at least if they were going to do a continuation, they should head off in a different direction. It should not have been, let's take the third movie and just drag it on. By the way, in case you didn't know, there is major spoilers. In the opening part of the movie, they do another flashbacks. Like, oh, look, the Transformers were here again prior to time and whatever. Although there wasn't an Optimus Prime narration. When it started, ships were coming in during the time of the dinosaurs, and I'm not sure who it was, if it was Lockdown or not, or the Dinobots. They transmutated metal landscape, which froze some of the dinosaurs. And that's what really led to the destruction of the dinosaurs. Weird. For the fourth time in a row, it's the Transformers were here again. Another thing we didn't explain to anybody, that the Transformers were here again prior to this. It's just so stupid. Just stop with that already. Move forward. Do something different. So then we had the whole agency, led by Kelsey Grammer's character, which I forgot his name. They're saying that, oh, we're going after all the Decepticons. But they end up going after the Autobots, and they're working with Lockdown, who was a Decepticon. And I'm like, it didn't make sense. Like, what the plot for the Saw movies is more well explained than what's going on here. How can anyone understand that we're going to hunt down all the Autobots and Decepticons, but we're going to be working with the Decepticons? I mean, I think we're hunting Decepticons, but it's just so confusing. And that's another thing. Okay, their aliens come to Earth. Oh, we can't trust them. Oh, we gotta stop them. But they save our asses. Oh, second movie, almost the same thing. Hey, they saved our asses. Third movie, practically the same thing. Oh, they saved our asses. Let's turn on them in the fourth movie. And of course, they got this cliched story with Mark Wahlberg's character. Mark Wahlberg is a good actor, but they really just watered him down to this movie. Like, they put him in a very cliche role, like the father who's like, I'm very ambitious. I'm broke, but I'm trying to make money by doing something stupid and not admitting my faults. And I have this daughter. Dad, you gotta stop what you're doing. It's not making money. They didn't really need to be there. I didn't really give a shit about these characters. No one did. I mean, the only good character in the movie was T.J. Miller's character. If you don't know who T.J. Miller is, he's a very funny comedian. He played the voice of one of the twins in the Dragon movie. He's the only one who's funny in this movie. And they end up killing him off early on. And the girl's boyfriend, even he's not really good. You cannot date my daughter. My daughter is my world, and she's innocent. Really, for a Transformers movie? When this become Lifetime? I mean, really. This movie made The Amazing Spider-Man 2 look good. I thought that was the worst movie I've seen so far this summer, even this year. Nope. This movie knocked that out. Optimus Prime, he's disguised himself as like a beat-up old truck. He went to hiding because of all this shenanigans. They find him, rescue him. Optimus hates humans now because of all this evil government agency. They're all like, where's Optimus Prime? We gotta protect the world, but we're gonna shoot you dead if you don't tell us who they are. We don't care. The stuff that they need to happen in this movie. They're killing off the Autobots and even some Decepticons, including Megatron's head, being used to make this material which the Transformers are made of, which they call Transformium, to create their own Transformers. Because we all know that when you mess with alien technology, good things happen. Nope. And that's when it leads to Megatron becoming Galvatron. And it was revealed that Lockdown's been in cahoots with this government agency. He wants to capture Optimus to take him back to his creators, which actually is more interesting than what the hell's going on in this movie. Like, Optimus Prime had creators? Why could that have been like this part of the movie? This big part of the movie? Like, why can't we learn more about these creators? No, we must explore why Mark Wahlberg is going to become a better father and rescue his daughter who was captured accidentally. I mean, this movie is almost 3 hours long. Way too long, way too much. All the Autobots themselves, like Hound, who I have right here. He was good. John Goodman played his voice. Ken Watanabe played Drift. John DiMaggio played Bender in Futurama. He played Crosshairs. He was pretty good. Bumblebee was back. Although, for the 4th time, he still can't talk. He has to use the radio. It's funny, in the beginning of the first movie, he couldn't talk, but then by the end, he was like, oh, I could talk. Second movie, oh, it's malfunctioning. Third movie, still malfunctioning. The 4th movie, still not working. Why can't Bumblebee talk? That's like a superhero who lost his superpowers, but hasn't gotten it back yet. For 4 movies. It's ridiculous. Yeah, so they were capturing the ship, and they save Optimus, eventually. Well, I didn't mention with that the industrial guy who was in charge of breaking down the Transformers. He's like an ultimate bad guy. I'm doing what's right for the future. And then later in the movie, when Mark Wahlberg's character convinces him that the seed, which was the deal was that if they gave Kelsey Grammer's character the seed, which would make like an area of that transformium metal, then that would benefit the guy in charge of that company. So basically it's a win-win. They get rid of Optimus, the leader of the Autobots, and they get to make more man-made Transformers. It was never established, though, in this movie, how exactly did Mr. Bounty Hunter Transformer guy, Lockdown, made the deal with this guy, or vice versa. It was just like, oh, by the way, yeah, we made a deal, we're not going to explain it, just go with it. Genius. There's the big epic battle. It just felt too long, but they did get the Dinobots. Turns out Optimus was captured alongside other legendary warriors, which were the Dinobots. At first, Grimlock, who doesn't talk, apparently, didn't want to help after Optimus saved him. But Optimus is like, oh, no, you're better help us. Convinces him, we fight for the same cause and you earn your freedom. So he rides in Grimlock. Grimlock does transform. The problem is he only speaks like one line of dialogue, and it doesn't even sound like Grimlock, because Grimlock's supposed to talk like, me, Grimlock. But he just sounds like a generic Transformer. And the Dinobots don't even appear until like the last 10 minutes of the movie. It took him 4 movies to get the Dinobots in the movie, and you underuse them. I mean, it was cool that they were there, and they kicked ass, especially Grimlock. But it was just like, what was the point if they were just going to be there for the last 10 minutes? When did they become Venom from Spider-Man 3? And by the end of the movie, Industrial guy, he also had a change of heart. He went from Mr. Hardass to Mr. Oh, gee willikers, guys, we're going to go help them. Crazy wackiness ensues. All of a sudden, he's the good guy now. The lovable, comical, it's like a wrestler who was like a really cool, powerful heel. Like how Sheamus was. He was all tough guy, he was a bully, and he got what he wanted. He turned face, he's like, hey there, fella, I'm going to kick your arse. It's like that. It was just really, really dumb. By the end of the movie, Optimus was all of a sudden, humans are good again. I killed that human, you know, the CIA guy, destroyed Lockdown, I forgot to mention, Galvatron, who, in case you don't know, is Megatron, corrupted the system and turned all the prototypes into his own Decepticons. So, shocker, technology, all that stuff. And Galvatron eventually escaped. But before that, he was trying to take the seed and detonate it, because apparently what they didn't know was that the seed wouldn't just transform one area, take over the planet. So the whole planet would be covered in transformium metal, and then the Decepticons would take over. Yeah, that whole story. So at the end, Optimus says he's gonna leave Earth, but you know, I could be back, I might not be back. He'll be back for the 5th movie. And Galvatron, like in the second Transformers movie, said, this isn't over, I'll be back. We know you will. And Optimus takes off into space and sends a message, like at the end of the other movies. Except this time he's like, creators, I'm coming after you, I'm gonna kick your ass. And that was it for the movie. Almost 3 hours of this. As long as Michael Bay doesn't direct anymore or is involved in any more Transformer movies, it could be a little bit better. It was not at all worth it, although I did only pay $10. So I didn't overpay for like 3D or anything. It's amazing. The first Transformers movie on the tomato meter got like a 57. And that was the highest rated Transformers movie. Everyone else got low. But by comparison, the first Transformers movie is an instant classic. Not that it is, by comparison it is. Second one was a typical sequel. But then the third movie brought it right back up again. So it went from like a 57, the second movie got like close to a 20, and then the third movie got like a 36. This one, lowest of the low, went down to like a 15% in the tomato meter. Now, I don't always go by critics, but when I go see a movie, I always take that into consideration, keep that in the back of my mind. That's why when I went to this movie, even though my expectations for this movie wasn't that low, but it wasn't that high, it was kind of like in almost the middle, so I wasn't hurt too bad. But the Transformers movies are usually good popcorn movies, good excitement, and it was just overkill, so cliched, so badly acted. For completion's sake, you know, I saw it with the Brad Rules, who did his review, I'm doing mine now. That's my review of Transformers Age of Extinction. I might do more in the future with like more upcoming movies, but like I said, if you're a completionist, I would say see it for the sake of seeing it, you know, because if you see the first three, you'll be like, what happens in the fourth? Like if you saw the first two Lord of the Rings, you're like, oh, I might as well see the third. I mean, I know what happens thus far. I want to see what happens now. If not, and if you never were a fan of the Transformers movies, skip it entirely. Don't even watch it when it comes on DVD or Blu-ray. It's not worth it. This movie could have been a little better, but it was just a waste of almost 3 hours. Thanks for watching.